the garage feels like a walk-in freezer every winter, this list will change the game fast. Let's turn that icy box into a warm, workable haven, starting now. Today's rundown counts down the 5 best propane garage heaters, from compact, get-it-done blasters to absolute powerhouses that turn big, drafty spaces into toasty workshops. Stick around to the end because the top pick surprised me with how intelligent and consistent it runs in real-world use. 5. STANLEY ST60HB2 GFA. I mean, for a simple 60,000 BTU torpedo heater, the STANLEY gets the basics right. Plug into 120 volt, hook up a standard 20-pound propane cylinder, hit the piezo, and it wakes up with a brisk whoosh. The unit ships with a 10-feet hose and regulator, which makes setup painless, and the push-button ignition is reliably one and done in my experience. It's a forced air design, so you get a directional blast that warms the near field fast, good for point-and-shoot heat at a workbench or engine bay. On paper, BTU is 60,000, fuel burn around 2.75 per hour, and runtime about 8 hours on a 20-pound tank at full tilt. In a typical garage session, that felt about right, especially if I wasn't constantly cycling it. Airflow is rated differently depending on source. The manufacturer manual lists 300 CFM, while a major retailer lists 600 CFM. Functionally, the throw felt respectable for a compact torpedo, but not overwhelming. Physically, it's portable, around 12 to 17 pound listed depending on the source, with a carry handle, and the footprint fits easily under a bench when stored. Now the quirks. The spec sheets conflict on coverage. One retail page says heating capability 300 feet squared, while the manual clearly states up to 1,500 feet squared. In real use, I'd put it squarely in the single bay garage to 2 bay with help range depending on insulation. It excels at spot warming, less at whole room uniformity. Also, it's outdoor rated by one listing, so ventilation awareness is a must if using in a garage. Crack doors and never run it in tight, unventilated spaces. 4. Flame King YSN AD0118. You know those heaters that feel surprisingly polished at their price? That's the Flame King YSN AD0118. It's rated at 60,000 BTU, with coverage up to 1,500 feet squared and up to 8 hours on a 20-pound tank at full output, which tracked close in my runs when used intermittently to hold temp after a quick warm-up. It ships with a hose and regulator and uses auto piezo ignition with a gas control button. Startup was easy and consistent. What really stands out is the safety stack. Built-in fuel shutoff, fire detection, and a safety tilt shutoff, plus CSA certification, reassuring in a garage environment where tools, cords, and movement are constant. Weight and size are friendly at roughly 14 pounds and about 17.5 by 14 in, so moving it between zones is no hassle. In operation, the heat plume feels focused and punchy, very comparable to other 60K torpedoes, and it gets a cold corner livable quickly. Downsides? Well, it's still a fixed output torpedo without integrated thermostat control, so maintaining a steady, comfortable band requires manual toggling or distance placement. Also, like most torpedoes, noise is noticeable, not shocking, but definitely there when the fan spools up. The claim of no open flame in a dealer blurb is more about enclosed combustion relative to radiant heads. Treat it like any forced air propane unit. Ventilate and follow clearances. Lastly, while the box copy promises a lot, hands-on, it performs in line with other 60K units. Good value, strong safety feature set, but not magic heat beyond its class. Number 3. Mr. Heater F274-800. Well, shifting gears. The Big Buddy is not a torpedo. It's a radiant heater with 4,000, 9,000, 18,000 BTU settings, and it's absolutely beloved for good reason. It heats up to about 450 fort square pers and is perfect for people working near the heater rather than trying to pressurize the entire garage with hot air. With swivel regulators and the ability to hook up 2-pound cylinders or an optional hose to a 20-pound tank, it's flexible and easy to manage fuel-wise. Safety is where it shines for garage users. Low oxygen shutoff, ODS, and tip-over shutoff give peace of mind, and the startup is a simple single control knob with piezo ignition. The optional fan, battery or AC, used to be a handy extra. Note the manufacturer has removed the fan on some models due to tariff changes, so newer units may not include it. Manage expectations if hoping for forced convection from the heater body. In practice, warmth feels gentle and targeted. Radiant heat is fantastic when you're stationary at a bench or under a car, less so for warming all the air in a big, drafty space. Fuel economy in radiant mode is solid, especially at the lower settings. For light-duty garage tinkering, I found the 9,000 BTU setting often enough, bumping to 18,000 during the initial chill break-in. It's also more conversation-friendly, no torpedo fan roar, just a quiet, radiant presence that lets work and talk carry on. Do remember, ventilation still matters. Propane combustion consumes oxygen. Keep some fresh air moving, even with ODS on board. 2. Mr. Heater, F271380. If a garage borders on warehouse vibes, the MH85 QAV is the muscle I reach for. Output ranges 50,000 to 85,000 BTU with a heat coverage spec around 2,000 to 2,125 feet square, which matched my experience in a poorly insulated, high-ceiling workspace where it still punched warmth into the far corners. Mr. Heater's QBT, quiet burner technology, claims roughly 50% quieter operation versus standard propane torpedoes, and, it's noticeably less shrill than some competitors. Still loud, but less fatiguing across a long session. Startup is straightforward. Plug into 110 volts, open the tank, set the output, and the continuous ignition takes it from there. It comes with a 10-feet hose and regulator, and safety-wise, you get high-temperature limit switches plus thermoelectric safety valves, exactly the confidence I want when a heater sits in a busy shop. Mr. Heater lists an up to 8-hour runtime on a 20-pound tank at low output. In practical mixed use with cycling and variable setting, a single tank can comfortably carry a typical workday if not pegged at max. A couple realities. First, it's outdoor use vented only per retailers, so for garage use, crack the bay or keep a steady exchange. Never treat a torpedo like an indoor appliance. Second, there's no built-in thermostat, so while output is variable, you're still riding the dial if you need tight temperature control. That said, the heat throw and recovery speed are excellent. It blasts cold air out fast and stabilizes a large space quickly, which is what most of us want when the mercury drops. 1. InoKraft Maxheat MH125. Here's the surprise champion. The InoKraft Maxheat MH125 is a 125,000 BU forced air unit with a built-in thermostat that cycles between 25 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit and claims coverage up to 3,200 feet. And in my testing, that thermostat made all the difference. Instead of babysitting a power switch, it ramps on, warms the space, and idles, keeping the garage in that sweet spot without constant fiddling, which, is exactly what a working shop needs. Power-wise, it's a beast, from cold start to comfortable. Took minutes in a large, semi-insulated workspace, and the sustained heat felt smoother because of the auto on-off logic. The included regulated hose is sensibly set up, and assembly is basically attaching the handle. No mystery steps, no digging for adapters. Yes, it's a torpedo with a fan, so noise is part of the package, but the payoff is rapid air mixing and faster overall warm-up compared with radiant approaches. What sold me is consistency. That thermostat prevents the sauna-freezer cycle common with fixed-output torpedoes, and in long sessions, that's huge for comfort and propane economy. The build quality felt stout, the control response was immediate, and even after repeated cycling, it kept relighting crisply without hiccups or flame-out drama. For big garages, multi-bay shops, or cold-soaked spaces that need decisive heat, MH125 feels purpose-built and confidently over-spec'd in a good way. Caveats? Sure, it's powerful and thirsty at high output. Plan for propane usage accordingly, especially on bitter days. Ventilation rules still apply. It's not for enclosed residential use. And like any big torpedo, it occupies space and demands clearances. Final thought. That's the lineup, from compact no-frills 60K units to a safety-first radiant workhorse to the quieter 85K bruiser, and finally, a 125K smart-controlled heater that actually manages the space for you. Pick based on how large the garage is, how fast heat is needed, and whether temperature steadiness or raw blast matters more. Stay safe, keep air moving, and let the projects roll, even when winter bites.